The World Trade Organization is the only international organization dealing with the global rules of trade between nations. Its main function is to ensure that trade flows as smoothly, predictably, and freely as possible. The result is a more prosperous, peaceful, and accountable economic world.
This is the beginning, and everything's at stake.
There's only one thing that the ruling interests have ever wanted, and that's everything.
What we are against is trade at any cost.
This is not about trade. This is about a corporate constitution.
We're pitted to be pitted against each other in a race to the bottom. Who will accept the most miserable working conditions?
Environmentalists committed to the cause of social justice to our people and our planet.
Because in this global economy, we are bound together. We are bound together in a way that we never have been before.
When labor and student and environmentalists and human rights activists stand together, we can and did shut down the WTO.
There's an unbelievable power in the people, in the trade union movement, when we work together, when we take the human rights activists, the environmental activists, the civic groups, our community coalitions, and we ally this with the labor movement. There's no force in the United States that can turn us back. You're in the ring in the streets of Seattle because you're not in the WTO in the ivory tower. You were treated shabbily. If this was my city, I would apologize to you for that happening in this city. And I want to welcome, this is where you belong, right here with the labor movement.
I think it's making history and it's exciting. And it's been very exciting to see the labor movement come together and really enforce, be out there and send a message to people that we are against the WTO.
You know, it was insane that it got so violent and crazy. I mean, I'm wearing nonviolent stuff. Just, you know, I'm here for nonviolence.
Can I ask why you're writing numbers on your arm?
In case we get separated and we need to contact the people we're with.
I just thought it was disgusting how undemocratic the WTO is, and I don't understand how such a small group of people can have control basically over the entire planet, and it's disgusting.
I hope that this just doesn't be demonstration and some chaos. I hope something really real result from these demonstrations.
What is going to come out is that the message has been sent all across the world and all across the United States. What we're going to see is that people are getting energized.
I'm a member of Earth First, and we work to protect the environment, and we've recently entered into an alliance with the steelworkers. We have an alliance for sustainable jobs in the environment, and we're completely tired of we don't buy into this, you know, there's jobs and environment thing. We want them both, we deserve them both, and we need them both.
We were able to show a good demonstration against the WTO. I hope they get the message from us, from the labor movement and from the rest of the groups too.
I'm a locked out steel worker now for going on this starts our 15th month right now today. And I don't appreciate our jobs all going overseas to a lower pay. If they want to send jobs over there, pay them comparable wage, then it isn't as bad a deal. But when they're just going over there to give them pennies on the dollar so they can make them dollars, that's not right. not right to not only the workers but to the environment, because they do not have the environmental laws in other countries that we have here.
Say no to WTO. We think WTO is going to ruin the lives of the American people as well as the lives of the people of color all across the third world.
I have no name. There's no escape. I work more than 12 hours a day, 7 days a week to meet my quota.
I've always believed that the illnesses of individual people are basically rooted on the illnesses of society in general.
The streets of America are paved by the sweat and blood of the people that the United States have extracted through plunder by exploiting the colonies and neo-colonies.
We'll look at U.S. imperialism, over the Philippines. And basically, it is like a colonizer who's colonizing a colony and not having to stay there, thus making the Philippines a neo-colony, just a client state. The United States could go into the Philippines and use it as a port of call, as a military staging ground. They could access cheap labor for the Philippines, raw materials to fund big industries and foreign monopolies.
Well, the Filipino government has accepted hook, line, and sinker the neoliberal policies that are imposed by the United States, Japan, and the other European countries because they profit from this. The local elite in the Philippines has benefited greatly because they are also the ones who become local partners of the multinational corporations.
The government is so desperate in trying to lure foreign investment inside, it's willing to bargain away our land, it's willing to bargain away utilities, media and education, areas of investment and business that used to be reserved for nationals.
Minimum wage in the Philippines right now is 198 pesos. So with the cost of living of 446 pesos, this is not enough for everyday living. The Filipino women, a great number of them are now going out of the country to migrate to other countries to work as domestic helpers. Some work as entertainers and become victims of sex traffickers. And even in our own country, there is now a growing number of women and children who become prostitutes.
The only escape for Filipinos is to find jobs outside. And the Philippines right now is the #1 exporter of human labor in the entire world. They're saying that globalization is going to help the Philippines. But we know from 50 years of globalization and 50 years of direct colonialism that globalization doesn't help the Philippines. It keeps it backwards technologically, and it keeps it tied to a debtor economy.
Yesterday was just wonderful. I mean, I can't remember the last time a major American city was shut down by progressive forces protesting corporate greed.
Well, I think it's really great that the people are speaking up. It's time that we did not turn our backs on sweatshop workers in other countries, and also on child labor, and on all the human rights abuses. And I think people are waking up in the U.S.
News coverage that I've seen have only been watching the radicals. The glass plates of glass were broken out. Now those are bad things, and we agree. We're not about that. But not to cover the main issues about taking jobs out of America and all the you know, the labor rights, the child labor rights, the rights of human beings are being taken away by these people.
It's just amazing how people can get together for a common cause of stopping the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. I believe that everybody should have a right to a good life. You know, we all don't want to be millionaires. We just all want to live our own life.
Need a couple more boats? Oh, hell, that's stupid. Who are they going to guard? Are we going to invade the country? We live here.
This is one of the rubber bullets that the police fired at the demonstrators yesterday. And I was actually there when that was happening, and it seemed like the tear gas was fired first, and then people started breaking windows as a response.
I don't know what happened. I know that we had a march and a rally of steelworkers, environmentalists, students, and others that went down to the waterfront for a symbolic steel dumping. It's like the Boston Tea Party, well, this was the Seattle Steel Party, right? And they were coming back, and for whatever reason, officers started pursuing them or another group of protesters in which they combined and pursued them. I don't know how many blocks that is, but it must be 12 or 14 blocks, and pursued them all the way down here and cornered them down between Broad and First, and then made quite a few arrests. It looks like 2 busloads of arrests. And they were firing tear gas and concussion grenades, and it's my understanding that some of the folks were trying to figure out a way in which they could exit, but that didn't seem to be an option, right? That was given them. And so I was trying to just help.
The few windows that were broken were no big deal compared to what could have happened. The police are overreacting, and now they're taking the peaceful protesters that are out here and treating them really wrong. It's wrong. They should realize that if we wanted to raise hell out here, it could have happened.
Well, I think the labor issues are really the damage that the WTO is doing as far as the laboring people throughout the world. The laws and the legislation that we pass is really overridden by the WTO. You know, we don't have a democracy anymore, and the democracy is being lost.
You know, I'm out here, I have a 7-year-old child. I'm out here to voice my opinions on how we should protect our environment for the future. And I have the right to assemble, and my rights have been taken away today. I'm not sure if I still live in America.
How does it make you feel about democracy in America?
I don't believe we have democracy.
We're all fed up with having other interests control our destiny.
On one hand, you know, we are fighting for our own sovereignty and our self-determination to implement our own environmental protection laws to protect our people and our health. So if the United States or Canada, you know, is being threatened by its sovereignty, then, you know, that's something our tribal leaders have to be concerned about. We were really concerned that there wasn't going to be an indigenous presence here, especially in these issues where we feel that economic globalization has a disproportionate impact to a lot of the indigenous peoples throughout the world. We feel that it's part of the new form of colonialization, which is still the main issue of colonialization that's impacted our people here in what we call Turtle Island for over 500 years.
No podemos permitir que la arrogancia y locura continúe degradando nuestro aire, agua, tierra, bosques y animales.
We, as children of the Mother Earth, cannot allow this arrogance and insanity to continue degrading our air, water, land, trees, and animals.
Definimos el medio ambiente como el lugar donde están nuestros vecinos, empleos, escuelas, juegos y lugares sagrados.
We define the environment to be our neighborhoods, workplaces, schools, playgrounds, and holy places.
Que han contaminado con la avaricia corporativa.
That have been polluted by corporate greed.
Aquí estamos para informarle a la Organización Mundial de Comercio que ya no toleraremos más promesas rotas, que no confiamos en que respeten nuestra salud y nuestra seguridad, nuestros derechos laborales y salario vivible.
We are here to inform the World Trade Organization that we will not tolerate more broken promises, that we cannot trust them with our health and safety, workers' rights and living wages, our environment, and our natural heritage, as well as with our democratic, accountable governance.
Tampoco en nuestro medio ambiente y herencia natural, al igual que en una gobernabilidad democrática y transparente, que nos unimos a los hermanos y hermanas de todo el mundo en nuestra determinación y decisión de ponerle fin a esta explotación.
That we are here to join our brothers and sisters from all over the world in our determination and resolve to end this exploitation.
So long as we're able to maintain our traditional cultures and to fulfill the responsibilities that many of our traditional societies have been given to be caretakers of the earth and to continue the traditional ways, then we're very powerful. We're more powerful than even they are. They might have the control in their hands right now, but that's very different than power.
Peaceful protest! Peaceful protest! Peaceful!
The very first shot I heard, something hit me and I fell. And then I think a couple other rooms must have opened fire because as soon as I looked back up, there was a few piles of smoke coming up, and I kept hearing more shots going off and people were skyballing.
So I don't have anything wrong. You were coming up from the steelworkers rally, maybe 1,000 people or so, and only 6 cops, and you were walking parallel to the police line, and one of them knelt down and suddenly opened fire.
That's exactly what happened.
Well, thanks a lot, Joe.
Thank you so much.
You're feeling better?
I am already. Thank you.
Can you describe what happened?
Well, we're legal observers, and there was a march down the street, perfectly peaceful, arm in arm, and the police simply opened fire, no warning, tear gas, rubber bullets. They came in masse, and now they're chasing people with armored cars. This was a peaceful demonstration that included labor, that included young people, that included all kinds of people. It was completely unprovoked, totally unprovoked.
The Lawyers Guild and a lot of other people actually have trained legal observers to be out in the community and not to really be involved with the demonstrations, in fact to stay somewhat removed from them, but to be able to be in very good positions to observe, especially to observe the behavior of the police.
They've been ripping gas masks off people's faces. They have apparently, we've heard rumor, found it to be under martial law, to be against the law for anyone other than police to have tear gas or gas helmets on, and so they're ripping them off people.
Well, I heard there was something about a mayor saying there's a mayoral decree saying you couldn't have signs, protest signs.
Right, they've also removed protest signs from people. Anything that declares any kind of opinion about the WTO is being removed from people.
I think the basis of it is this state of emergency where Mayor Schell said that if people are seen within this certain region and they engage in protests, they'll be considered automatically to be doing something unlawful. It's really a fairly blatant suspension of the constitutionally protected rights to assemble and to speak. So, you know, when that spins into, well, now you can't even own a gas mask, now you can't own a banner, now you can't own a protest button, you know, it seems that those can't possibly be restrictions on people that have any basis in the Constitution.
Orders, they gave the orders to move forward. We were standing there asking to go through. We did not provoke them. And I saw them pepper spray her directly, and they tear gassed all of us. I saw them push her down and walk through her.
I think a lot of people, based on what the history is of protest in Seattle, thought that what was going to happen was a mass arrest. So this big civil disobedience action, people have been adhering to civil disobedience, have been trying to promote it for, decades. And what they thought was going to come of that was mass arrest. That's always how Seattle has responded, In a way, it gives people, even the arrest gets the due process rolling, and people get their day in court and they get to say why they were there, and yes or no, do they have a right to be there. But to just wage this kind of chemical warfare on people, it doesn't even give them the benefit of their day in court, it just removes them from the street without the police having to justify or having to press any charges or having to say that they're doing anything illegal, just to push them back block by block with these terrible noxious chemicals.
We had a rally down at the docks, and we went through the Pike Market and came up to the corner and saw those police chasing the kids down the street. These are the same kids that have been marching with us. They weren't doing anything wrong. And they were tear gassing them, and I've never seen it before, and I said, well, I'm gonna stick around and watch it. Now they tear gassed us, and now they pepper sprayed us.
I think so much was done that was so blatantly illegal and so blatantly abusive. I think many courts could find in the favor of people who were victimized, whose rights were violated, whose bodies were brutalized, and I suppose it depends on the court, but they're not marginal legal issues. They're pretty clear,
I'm just so ashamed of my country right now. I'm crying because I got pepper gas, but I'd cry anyway. I mean, it's...
For many people visiting or working in downtown Seattle, today was downright scary.
Starbucks is open!
Protesters.
Demonstrators.
Anti-WTO revolutionaries.
Gangs. Looting. Taking advantage.
About 5 or 6 canisters.
The police gassed us for no reason, and the media is telling the world that this is a way to control people. Or they say that we are people who do not know what we are protesting or what we are talking about.
The whole focus has been on the violence and the destruction of property, not on the issues that people are out here demonstrating about. The media has intentionally just glossed that over.
Someone's down, trying to get up.
Just totally ignored it. That's what the real problem is out here. The people don't have a voice to express, their griefs.
The media all over the world is not buying that story. This is the US corporate media. I heard from a friend in India who said the headlines in all the mainstream newspapers in India were celebrating the close down of WTO meetings yesterday. And across class lines, across party lines, it is being celebrated in India.
The mainstream media I saw last night made it look like there were some people breaking windows and the police had to restore order.
Later on, I see on the television saying that the police have used this to control people.
Their locations and were quite upset by
People did not need to be controlled. We were marching peacefully.
The mainstream media is slanted. It's always slanted. It wouldn't have mattered what happened out here yesterday.
They have failed to represent and inform the readers of what is going on in the streets.
Maybe 1% of the massive amount of protesters that were out there chose to do property damage. They totally lost sight of what all of this is about. It's why people came from around the world to be here.
And yes, some vandalism has occurred, but it's very little compared to the number of people who are out there chanting
We say fair trade!
and asking for peace. And we need to be very proud of our young people for the kind of restraint, for the kind of belief in nonviolence and peace they have demonstrated. Citizens of this country, and here I speak as somebody from India, citizens of this country need to be very proud because they should know there's a great future ahead in this future generation of ours.
They carrying those signs about cops?
We just got down here.
Just got here?
They're late. They don't even know that this is a no protest zone.
Yeah, they're supposedly not allowed to have signs.
Yeah, so if those guys see you, they will mace you.
But I think they got more important things right now. They're trying to get the president out of town, apparently.
I thought he was leaving tomorrow.
You guys with the World Trade Organization?
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you think about the meeting so far?
It's going pretty well.
It's going well? I heard that a lot of delegates were leaving.
No.
No? Everything's going fine? Like business as usual?
So far.
Yeah? Is this like the normal situation the World Trade Organization expects for future meetings?
I doubt it.
No? They'll think they'll have it under control by then?
Well, I think people will start to realize how important the trade is, and they'll back off on some.
Maybe the World Trade Organization will realize how important the environment is and how important labor rights are.
I think they do.
I hope they get them. I hope so, because people are angry, you know.
A lot of people are ignorant too.
Well, yeah, that's true, but you know, it's not like the World Trade Organization knows it all. You gotta listen.
I've been working on this for 28 years.
Yeah.
I know it very well.
What have you? Can I ask what you've been working on?
On international trade for 28 years. It started with after the war, because the failure to understand the importance of trade helped to cause World War II. Brought Hitler to power. And it was after World War II that people said that can't happen again, and the GATT was
people are feeling like it is happening again in this country.
What is happening again?
Fascism.
Oh.
I went up to Seattle to start a brand new world built from the heart, and stand beneath the starry crown. Good world, show me the way. Come on, people, let's go up. Come on up, don't you wanna go up? Come on, people, let's go up to Seattle to start. Well, I went up to Seattle to see what's become of democracy as tears roll down my tear-gassed eyes. Good world, show me the way. Come on, children, let's go up. Come on.